When your kid is facing a serious problem at school, your first instinct is to fight for them. But how you fight can literally change everything. It's the difference between being ignored and forcing the school to take immediate, decisive action. And it all comes down to one critical choice. Have you ever wondered about this? It's a scenario that drives so many parents crazy. You've got two families. Both are loving, both are completely distressed, and they're reporting the exact same kind of bullying incident. Yet for one parent, the problem just gets worse. For the other, it's solved in a matter of days. What gives? Well, the answer boils down to the language they use. It's one of two paths. Parent A makes an emotional plea. And what do they get? Sure, they get some sympathy, but ultimately, nothing happens. Parent B, on the other hand, makes a policy demand. And that gets the school's lawyers involved, and more importantly, it forces them to comply. Let's see exactly how this plays out. So first up, let's look at the story of Parent A. This approach is probably going to feel pretty familiar because it's the one most of us would take. You lead with your heart and you hope for compassion. Here's the email from Parent A, and you can feel the pain, right? It's raw, it's genuine, and it's a desperate plea for help. Every single word is understandable, but from the school's point of view, it contains zero enforceable demands. It's a request, not a requirement. And here's the school's reply. Okay, pay close attention to the language here. Thank you. We take this seriously. I will speak with, monitor. It all sounds so helpful, doesn't it? But legally, it's completely non-committal. It doesn't create a single obligation or set a single deadline. This is a masterclass in institutional deflection. And the result is sadly so predictable. A couple weeks go by, nothing. No updates, no change. By week 4, the bullying has actually gotten worse. In the end, the parent feels they have no choice but to pull their child out of the school. And the school, it faces absolutely zero consequences. The emotional appeal has totally and completely failed. Okay, now let's rewind. Same exact problem, but this time we have Parent B. And they play this completely differently, not based on emotion, but on the rulebook. Just look at the subject line. Right away, this signals something different. This isn't a plea for help. It's a formal report of a legal violation that demands a specific, required action. The entire dynamic has shifted before the email is even opened. Inside, the email is structured like a legal notice. Parent B isn't just complaining, they're citing specific laws. They're listing the school's own required actions, setting firm policy-based deadlines, and making it crystal clear that if the school fails to comply, this is getting escalated. This isn't a request anymore. It's a formal demand. And boom, look at the school's response now. It's night and day, isn't it? It's immediate, it's formal, and it's totally compliant. They acknowledge the report, they assign an investigator, and they commit to the parent's timeline. The conversation about feelings is over. This is now a procedural process, and the parent is the one driving. The results? They're fast. An update comes in just 2 days. A full report, suspensions, and a safety plan are all delivered in 5. The bullying stops. The system is held accountable. Same problem, totally different and successful outcome. And hey, this isn't just some nice story. The data backs this up big time. Policy-driven advocacy has a compliance rate of nearly 80%. Emotional advocacy, it barely cracks 15. So why the huge gap? It's simple. Schools are designed to manage emotion, but they are legally required to follow the code. So how did Parent B actually pull this off? Well, it wasn't a fluke. Their success was built on a really solid framework, 4 essential pillars of power that literally force compliance. And here they are: code citation, timeline enforcement, evidence documentation, and the escalation threat. Each one of these is absolutely crucial. Think of it like a table. If you take away even one of these legs, the whole strategy can just collapse. All right, pillar 1, code citation. This is about changing the entire conversation. You stop talking about what feels wrong, and you start talking about what is legally required. You're not asking for a favor, you're pointing to their own non-negotiable job description. Let me show you what I mean. Saying, the school is taking too long, that's subjective, it's an opinion. But stating, your own district policy requires this to be done in 5 school days and today is day 12, that is an objective, undeniable fact. There is simply no arguing with it. Pillar 2 is timeline enforcement. You know how institutions sometimes use delay as a weapon to just wear parents down? Well, this pillar flips that strategy right back on them. You use the school's own mandatory deadlines to create urgency and document every single day they are out of compliance. Next up, Pillar 3, evidence documentation. This is where you become a meticulous, almost obsessive record keeper. Every email, every incident, every broken promise gets logged. This is how you stop the he said, she said game and turn your case into an organized, factual record of their failure. And the final pillar, the escalation threat. This is the or else. This is what gives your demands teeth. You clearly state that their inaction will lead to a formal complaint with the Office for Civil Rights or the State Department of Education. That forces their legal team to get involved, and trust me, they almost always prefer compliance over a lawsuit. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? It starts by learning how to translate your very real, very valid emotional trauma into the cold, hard language of code. This translation guide here is so powerful. Look, instead of saying, my child is scared, you state, my child is experiencing reasonable fear of harm under Ed Code 4904. You're using the exact legal definition from their safety rulebook. Instead of, the school won't help, it's, the school has failed to comply with mandatory investigation timelines. You're not just complaining, you are speaking their language. You see, this all comes down to a fundamental shift in your mindset. You stop being a parent begging for a favor. You become an advocate, an auditor, who is demanding that a public institution follow its own rules and the law. And that simple shift, it changes everything. If you take only one thing away today, let it be this. Emotion creates sympathy. Sympathy is optional. Code creates liability, and liability is never optional. Schools are risk-averse institutions. Your job is to make it clear that ignoring you is the riskiest move they could possibly make. So it all comes down to a choice. The language of emotion will probably be heard, but it'll likely be dismissed. The language of code, on the other hand, will be understood, documented, and acted upon. So the only question left for you is, which language are you going to speak?